Do they ask you like, hey, what's the time to value on these kinds of things? Do you have your own internal measures like to understand like, hey, this has to prove it can do something in a certain period of time? How do you go about assessing this? Because it's one of those things where there's going to be new features or things that people are engineering that are going to complement what you're doing, and you want to integrate it. But how do you go about testing, implementing? Like, what measures do you go about, criteria, I guess, to evaluate the feasibility, success factors, and so on for committing to these new implementations, new technologies?
Yes, we are not going to go and talk to 5,000 different cybersecurity companies because that will take us 20 years. And of course, by then life will be different. But we are connected in the industry. We do this not in a very scientific way, as you were trying to allude, actually. We do this in sort of a more practical way. The security world has a lot of connectivity. We meet in gatherings and conferences, we meet in CISO events, and we compare notes. So if I hear from someone I trust that they tried this small company and it did A, B, and C very well, I take that as a vote of confidence for a new kind of company that is coming up. And maybe that's a reason for us to talk to. But we're not going to go evaluate tens of companies in any one space. We maybe evaluate two that we believe are the two most interesting things for us. And honestly, if we miss another 12, there's just nothing we can do about it. It's not looking for the best 3-person startup in security because I do not know how to do that. But sometimes you're in a situation when there's a very focused problem that you want a very, very specific technology to solve. If that turns out to be one of the companies in the ecosystem of a company like CrowdStrike, that's value for us. That's actually good stuff. If it turns out that it's kind of a unique thing that we need to solve, we're going to go and evaluate. And if it works, it would be great. It's really based on connections.
The one thing we've heard from every cybersecurity professional that has been on this show is the talent gap. There's a huge demand for this industry. There's not enough people that are working or qualified in this industry or looking to be in this industry or whatever the case may be. And we read that you're doing something about this and that CrowdStrike University is something that has spun up with your company. Give us an idea of how you're envisioning CrowdStrike University and what it's going to do to hopefully change the trajectory of the talent pool in the field.
If you didn't bring it up, you wouldn't hear me talking about the skills gap. To me, it's a little bit overdone. And not that it's not a real problem. It's easy to say that there's a skills gap. If everyone is trying to hire the same 5 people that came from the same 5 schools, there will always be a skills gap. And that's the thing that I think is not talked about enough. Some of the smartest minds that I've met in my career in the cybersecurity industry did not come from cyber. They did not do the university degree that I did. They didn't go and do the same path that I took to get to where I am. Some of the smartest minds I've met are lawyers that decided that they were interested in this space. Some of the people came from such diverse backgrounds and they were interested in this space, and someone gave them a chance. So they either went and did their own schooling, somebody gave them a job, they were inquisitive, they had a passion and a desire to learn, and they got into the industry. We've got a lot of those people that work at CrowdStrike today. They don't have that natural, what you would think, the 5 best schools in the US or the UK or Australia or whatever the case may be. So we need to get a little bit different in terms of the way that we approach the hiring. Diverse backgrounds gives diverse thinking and brings a different approach.
This episode of IT Visionaries is brought to you by Salesforce. With Salesforce's low-code app dev tools, you can be more efficient, more productive, and save money by reducing development time by up to 90%. Get Salesforce's low-code playbook and increase time to value for your team and your customers. Visit salesforce.com/ITV today.